Welcome, everyone. This is episode 28 of the Electric B2B show. And today we've got a special happening for you because what we're going to do is we are recording right now an internal knowledge sharing jam session. That's what it's called at Clear. Is it every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, guys? I think
it's every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so the idea was that because we're lazy, aka efficient people, how about we record this internal knowledge sharing jam session? There we go, and repurpose it into a podcast and God knows what else. Okay,
exactamente. So, yeah, do you wanna start your video?
No.
That'd be so cool though, because you would be part of the next episode.
That'd be so cool.
I was not ready for that. Like if you
But anyway, you could like touch up your face with Premiere Pro afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that will
change your hair. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyhow, you guys take it away.
So,
what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about a Wistia
report. Let's present you guys. So we are we've got Zoli Erkel, who is a growth marketer / consultant at Clear.
Yep.
And we've got Dana, who is a content producer, both video or primarily video content producer and visual content producer. And we've got little old me, who's not going to do anything or say anything. I'm the founder of Clear. So if you're listening, actually, it's better to watch this because this is actually a presentation. But even if you're listening, you're going to get a ton of value out of this.
Although you won't see Dana, sadly, but yeah.
Although you won't see Dana.
I will touch my shoulder lately.
Yeah. So what we did basically, and this is actually a really good thing because it's something that you can do as well if you want to create useful content, is you actually take someone else's content and then you obviously refer back to them. So you don't just, steal it, but you refer back to them and you repurpose their content as something useful for maybe your community or prospects, whomever really. And in this case, we actually took a Wistia video report. So Wistia is like a podcasting, a video tool, whatever. You can do a lot of things with them. And they did a report from, their numbers from 2019 to 2020. Is it 21, right?
Yeah, 21 so far.
Yeah, so the report is called 2022 because it was made recently, but it's of the time period between 2019 and 21. And basically it's just numbers on videos created mostly by SaaS companies or like software companies, I should rather say. But they also had information on like retailers, marketing companies, consultancies. So a lot of different folks using videos. And this is what we are going to be seeing today or talking about today. And Dana will start the presentation and I will probably take over halfway.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Zoli. So yeah, here is a short plan, what we're going to do today. So we're going to look at the statistics mostly, and we will see like total views per total videos by Wistia, then average video length, and how often people produced videos like during 2019 and 2021. So we will start.
What we're looking to do is put this into context for everybody who's listening in B2B marketing and our clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't worry, you'll edit it out.
We will start with total video uploads. And as everyone knows, the pandemic hit us some time ago. And then in 2020, video uploads actually increased from 9 million to 17 million. And after that, in 2021, the numbers were steady. And in 2022, video is already a permanent investment in marketing strategy, basically. So here you can see the statistics and numbers. So yeah, now we're going to look at strategy versus no strategy. You can see the bar, like, do you have a strategy? And mostly, like, almost half of people have a strategy and others just don't have a strategy, but it doesn't like make it bad for them, basically. So if they have an outlined strategy, the success is in lead generation and engagement metrics. And by engagement metrics, I mean engagement rate, views, and minutes of video watched. But without strategy, companies also survive pretty successfully, I would say.
Yeah, just really quickly, Dana, to that point, I think what's important in this part is that you don't necessarily have to like a really structured strategy to start creating videos. So, you don't have to have a whole, whatever, 12 months outline and know like, okay, this is what I want to do, have all of these KPIs that I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at engagement rates. I'm going to look at my views, how long I engaged my users or customers or whomever. So how many of the minutes they have actually watched. What you see is that almost half of the companies that are using video are not having any sort of strategy. So they're just creating content, they're putting it out there. And still, what this tells you, or what this should tell you, is that even without a strategy, even just by being sort of consistent with it and putting out content in video, it still can be really, really useful, because all of these companies are keep producing, these video content. And as we'll see a bit further down the line, they do have really nice results with it, even without any really serious structure to it.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was going to say that, like, I would answer no to this question, even though we're a video first company, meaning that in content, we favor video above and over everything else, just because we can create it very fast and then repurpose it into many, many formats.
Yeah.
For ages to come. But we don't have a video strategy. We have a content strategy, but not a video strategy. It's just self-explanatory that we use video as the preferred #1 medium.
Yeah. And we are definitely not meticulous in looking at like, engagement rates and all of that. We don't really care for that. We do get really good feedback from prospects and people that we are actually interested in working with. So, we do know that it actually works, and we are not just, putting it out and then, not caring for it. But we definitely don't check up on like engagement rates and all of that, like meticulously or
Yeah, I would also add that maybe it depends on the personality of people who produce videos. So if they like doing something really fast and without any strategy, maybe it would be more beneficial for them this way. But if they like everything to be really planned, that can also
be structured. Yeah. Good point.
Okay.
So here are the goals in 2022 of like marketing companies. So first of all, they want to branch out, and then they also want to create brand new to them types of videos, which can be like original branded series, product videos and demos, and case studies. So they basically want to like implement something interesting and fresh into their content. And you can see the bar. How do you define success with your video strategy? And as you see, like engagement rate takes the first place here.
Yeah. But what's interesting here as well, that if you look at like the pie chart, there isn't like one specific KPI or metric that most of these companies are looking at. So it's not like everyone is looking at leads generated or everyone is looking at engagement rates. Of course, there's like maybe 3 or 4 of them which stands out a bit. So like views, leads generated, engagement rate. But it's not like they just have one specific thing that you ought to look out for, because if you don't have, video watched, if it's not high on your list, then you shouldn't be, looking at your KPIs. To me, it speaks to to what we talked about before, that really, if you just get any sort of feedback, if you know that it actually works, you don't necessarily have to look at the numbers, it's not as important.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It also depends, your metrics, your KPIs are going to depend heavily on your sales cycle. So how long it typically takes you to sell a product, because if you have direct sales videos where the user can purchase your product or service in the very session where they view the video, then it makes total sense to track sales, because you can attribute it to the video without fooling yourself. But for us, where sales cycles take from 6 to 9 months, how are you going to attribute that to sales?
Exactly.
So,
I'm not sure if I'm not sure, and Dana, feel free to stop me if we have this later on. But are we going to talk about like how companies usually use it, whether if it's for the top of funnel, middle of funnel, or bottom of funnel? Is it involved?
have it.
Okay, yeah, it's just another interesting fact is that we do, well, still sees with their report is that most of the companies actually use it still for top and middle of funnel. So, they are more so for like the first initial engagements and like the first steps of getting to know something. And with like really sales directed videos, they don't see as much of a success. So that again, as George said, you don't necessarily have to be looking at, engagement numbers or like metrics, as it probably wouldn't tell the whole story. You can't really attribute someone actually making a decision to that specific video when you are actually creating the video to speak to people in the top and the middle of the funnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The bottom of the funnel video rocks. So if you use it just for sales outreach on LinkedIn, for example, and you record a short message, and you just complement it with so you put it next to your proposal or something like that, tends to work really well.
Yeah, but that's like, so that's a really specific
that's
type
bottom
of
of the
video.
funnel.
Yeah, that's going to be like a short something that you send out with at the end of the funnel. Yeah, it's not going to be like a long sales video on, why you should buy this or whatever.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's talk about money. And we have a budget here. And you can see that last year, people were investing from 1 to 10% of total marketing budget to video marketing budget.
Yeah.
And in this year, like many companies are planning to increase their budget videos. And you can also see the statistics here, like what percent of your marketing budget in 2021 went to video, and by how much will your budget increase in 2022?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
People are really seeing like the efficiency of increasing the budget in video marketing, because video our videos are really useful. They're useful type of content.
Yeah, and I know that I keep coming back to this, but the pie chart about like how many of these companies are actually looking at metrics, or how many of them have like KPIs and strategy. It was almost half of them didn't really care for it. Yet what you see here is that most of them are actually planning on increasing their budget, their video budget, and increasing even it, how much is it? Like 35% wants to increase it by more than 10%. So, that to me again speaks about like how even without like a really meticulous strategy, you can see that this works. So I'm going to put more money into it because like we get good feedback. People are saying, hey, I actually saw your video. It was fun and all of that.
The qualitative feedback. And you just know it works without seeing the numbers behind it.
Yeah.
I even remember many success stories, which were like, there was only me. And then I hired the videographer guy and we just started producing the content. So many companies are just starting by video content.
Yeah. And it really seems to work.
So let's go to average video length. And we know the tendency that short videos are the most popular kind of content nowadays. So, and you can see it in the statistics as well. But also there is a significant rise in long form content. Because nowadays companies, they don't want to spend that much time on editing the videos, on making them shorter, on like outlining the specific parts of the videos, which are maybe the most interesting parts, but they want to just upload the whole thing, basically, like the long video, and the viewers are actually ready to watch the whole thing. And they're staying pretty much engaged into that. Maybe this is also the consequence of the pandemics, because people are now maybe tend to watch more. Their attention span became longer. I'm just assuming. I don't have any like psychological data about this attention span thing, but I think it sounds logical, and that's why the long form content also becomes really popular.
What's interesting is I attribute the rise of 60+ minute videos, and it's a pretty significant jump, I think, if you think about it. So it went from like roughly 800,000, no, specifically 900,000 to well over 1 million. It's a significant jump. No, excuse me. It went from 730 to over 1 million. So that's like a 25% increase. And I think that has to do a lot with webinars getting more popular. And the respondents probably, so like normally you wouldn't do a 60-minute video that is like a planned shoot with many takes. 60+ minute videos tend to be, and even 30+minute videos, I think they tend to be recorded webinars and
Yeah.
sessions like this one.
Yeah.
So that
And then
just
I
goes
also
to show
think,
you that. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, go on.
No, that's go ahead.
I just meant to say that, and I know that we will have something about this down the line, but Dana actually said something there, which I think was quite useful to touch upon again, which was that you can still outline different parts of the video. So even by, uploading 60-minute videos on YouTube and on most of the different video tools or whatever, like Wistia as well, I'm guessing, you're likely able to, outline different parts. So even a 60-minute video, people can get engaged because you see that, okay, there's a part what I'm interested in at like 27 whatever, and then there's another part at like 45 whatever, and they will keep watching those parts just by giving them the option to check those out. So it doesn't really have to be all edited down and cut into like tiny bits and pieces.
Yeah, but it's true if you think about it. So if whenever we have a longer video, we're definitely going to slice it up into shorter videos. So for every 60-minute video, you'll have, or we will have, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shorter videos between 3 and 10 minutes in length.
Yeah, but like in a podcast, in a podcast version, we do upload it. So we do upload like the 30-minute long one or whatever. But yeah, we do cut down. So that's another thing that, a long form video is actually in a way gives you more options, because you can create short form videos out of it, and then you can still keep the long form one to like different channels.
Yeah, I don't like these categories, by the way. So it's super misleading, or doesn't tell you the story. Like you have under 1 minute, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, and then 5 to 30, which is nuts, because I'd really be interested in the 5 to 10, and then the 10 to 15 or something. So why have a category that's like 4 times the size of the other categories?
Maybe they don't have as much. Maybe they had to bundle it up because they didn't have as much between like that 5 and the 30-minute.
Yeah, but still, then it doesn't give you the granularity. Okay, and by the way, people, like, this is not about what the optimal video length is. This is purely about how long, what video lengths people make.
Yeah.
So it doesn't tell you anything about what works or what doesn't in video length. So don't take these numbers like too seriously.
I just wanted to add some fun facts from Gen Z world. TikTok, like the super popular platform nowadays, they also have now longer videos. Like you can record like 3 minutes or something there. So like
it's getting longer and longer.
10 minutes,
I
up
think.
To 10 minutes. Yeah.
So the whole world like has a tendency to increase the video length.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Exactly. Good point.
Yeah, here is a cool story. Yeah, so late last year, we had the chance to hire an extremely talented videographer. We took the opportunity and invested in not only hiring a full-time employee, but also building a studio in our office. We are scaling our video production from a few videos completed with a contractor last year to full-scale video production in 2022. So
yeah, the only reason I felt like this would be fun to include is just, it speaks to how important it seems to be and how useful it seems to be for companies that are actually, or businesses that are actually applying video content as part of their content strategy, or, not even a content strategy, just maybe as part of their content creation. And, you can see a marketing director talking about like how the chance to hire someone actually sort of skyrocketed their video production, whatever strategy or video production activities, and how the marketing director feels like this is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what else we have?
We have captions. So captions help make your content accessible to a wider audience, and more businesses are choosing to add captions to their videos. So 2021 saw an 11% increase in the number of videos using captions. And while you're watching this video, you also see the captions appear. I will also choose this strategy to have a wider audience, basically.
Yeah, I think something that this might not be as much of an interesting or intriguing part of the report. But I think what's good to remember at this part is that the reason you would use captions is to make it easier for people to listen to your videos, to help them, whatever, if they are in a place where they can't really listen to it with sound, whatever. But what I think is important is that you don't necessarily have to make it perfect. And this goes on, this is actually applicable to the whole video creation and content creation strategy. Just in general, you don't have to make it perfect. So sometimes the videos that we put out, probably this video will as well, have some typos in the captions, or maybe the AI that we are using is misunderstanding some of the words that we are saying. Don't worry about it. Like, people will not get hung up on like tiny details or tiny mistakes. If what you're putting out is interesting to them, if what you're putting out is actually something that they care about and something that gives them value, no one will stop and say like, oh, this is such a shitty video because it had like 3 typos or whatever. People don't really care. Obviously, if you can run through it once or twice and check for like major mistakes so that it doesn't mess up what you're trying to say, but like a few typos will not kill anyone.
Yeah, and in the end, you can always say like, artificial intelligence is so cool nowadays, but still it has some typos. So
yeah.
Just blame it on the AI. Exactly.
Just blame it on the AI. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's move
on. Yeah, video plays. Oh my god, sorry. Video plays are up. From 2019 to 2021, there was a 77 increase in the amount of annual video plays. And here you can see the chart as well, how the video plays like increased.
Yeah, and I think just a tiny thing that you can touch upon, but it's really not as important, is that it's interesting to see that in almost all of the cases, or actually in 2021, the first 2 quarters, for some reason, were a bit more strong in video views, and then it leveled out a bit. But yeah, in general, I think the only thing to take away from this is that create videos. They're useful. People like to watch them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, let's talk about the consumption of videos. Here you can see the total video uploads and then the time watched. And even though slightly fewer videos were created, demand for video content was at an all-time high.
Yeah, so it just the same thing that we talked about in the previous slide. Although there were a tiny bit less videos created last year compared to like 2020, although still a lot more than in 2019. The amount of or the time watched, the amount of people watching videos, or the amount of videos being watched, is actually still rising up. So again, just as you can see, it is a really useful content type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zoli, do you want to talk now?
Yeah, so the engagement rate, this is something that we talked about a few slides before, and this just goes to show that the engagement rates are pretty consistent throughout all of the 3 years. So obviously the shortest videos will have the most engagement rates, but that does not mean in any sense, and Joel actually talked about this, it does not mean that you have to create short videos and that longer videos will not convert, or they will not have as much of an impact. Something that I think is worth remembering at this point is that you will have different purposes for different video lengths. So just because your 60-second long videos or 2-minute long videos are more engaging in a way, they are watching it for longer, it does not mean that you should only produce 2-minute videos. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve and what part of the funnel you are targeting. If you're targeting someone at the very bottom, yeah, sure, make like a short video, or someone who knows about what you're saying and they are actually well aware of the things that you're explaining, and they are fine with like a 1-minute long video. But like a webinar, a recorded podcast, something that we are doing right now, they still have their place.
Yeah, just think about it. If the engagement rate of a 60-minute video is, let's say, 12% or 15%, that means that somebody is listening to you and watching you for 8 whole minutes. Now that's a lot of time, especially on internet platforms. So 8 minutes is a whole lot of time. So to have a buyer's attention for 8 minutes, that's worth money. So don't be discouraged by the lower engagement rates on longer videos. You still need them.
Also, always remember that these are averages. So, maybe the buyer who you're actually interested in is watching it for 25 minutes or 30 minutes. And then someone who is like mildly interested or might come back, later, they're just watching it for 2 minutes. So it doesn't mean an average doesn't tell you the whole story. Maybe your most, interested prospects are actually watching you for half of the video or the full video. Okay, I think we can move on. Yeah, that's pretty much just the same thing. That's just the engagement benchmark. You can see that, the highest average engagement will be the shortest videos, but again, it just doesn't tell you the whole story. So, don't try and form your content creation strategy on these numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and this is just something I think maybe again less interesting to like general, someone who's starting out, general viewer. But if you're actually, what Wistia talks about here is that what sort of tools you can use in your videos and what sort of tools are getting used more and more in the videos uploaded to their tool or their site, their platform. And one of these are turnstiles. So, maybe, or basically just like lead generation or lead capture forms, capturing email addresses and all of that. You have annotation links, which I think most of the people will see now with YouTube videos as well. Usually, like product links and all of that. So someone is talking about their product and you can actually, check them out and click out. And then calls to action, which is basically the same thing, but it's just, again, it will help your viewer to, get to the point that you can drive them to where you're wanting them to go.
Yeah, and I think it's also maybe interesting to add here that people can be really creative with these tools. Maybe they can, tell like, yeah, now I'm going to talk about this, and here you can find the link, and like maybe point to the link, or maybe even like create some graphics around it. So it will make it more interesting. And this is what I noticed in YouTube, that they can like maybe point with their fingers, or they can even like use some additional, I don't know, pointers.
Yeah, it's just something that you can use as a mix-up tool, sort of. So you can, add some color to your videos. You can make it a bit more active or whatever, make it a bit more engaging just by adding some of these links. And then, but obviously, don't try and jam pack your videos with all of these links, because you might just actually drive away your viewers to like different links, and you won't have as much success with the engagement rate.
Yeah, this is really easy to do with TikTok.
Yeah,
because you're like right there on the platform, and then you can just add these things, these calls to action and stuff that'll grab people's attention. It's also really easy to overdo it, as you said.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's just a tiny detail. Okay, so what else do we have here? Yes, and I think from now on we will just have a few numbers on how these actually build up, these annotation links, call to actions, turnstiles, and all of that. Yeah, what you see is there's an uptick in companies using these annotation links. It's just a tool to nurture your customers down the funnel. It's not obtrusive. It's not like, you are asking for a lot of information. You're basically just asking for, let's say, an email address. And then as while they are watching the video, they can actually do this as part of their, as part of their fun time or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah, this just talks to, the point of like, how would you use these, and like where would you put it? And I'm not sure if this is super interesting, but what you see, I guess generally it's just it's an interesting point that in 2021, for whatever reason, it seems like putting the turnstiles at the end of the video, so like basically asking for an email at the very end of the video in a sort of short form, is for whatever reason has the highest conversion rate by far. And then the middle of the video from last year and the year before that, maybe it has to do with COVID, like 2019 and 2020, maybe at the rise of the COVID, people were like more okay with just sitting in front of a video and then just doing stuff. And right now they just want to get to the end of it. I'm not sure. Again, we don't really have numbers on this.
Yeah, but we do know that people now watch the longer videos. So maybe like, that also this is the consequence of them watching the video for a longer time, and so they can like
maybe they don't want to get interrupted in the middle of the video. They are just like, okay, now I watched it, now I'm fine with giving you my information.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that we have here?
Maybe we become like more transparency at the end of the video. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. To be honest, again, not a super interesting part, but about using default or custom copy. It's just speaks to how, you know, using the right messaging actually makes a major difference. So what you see here is that although there's a rise in using your own copy when you're asking for these information in these forms, but still, as you see, well, yes and no, that doesn't really tell you much, but it's about using custom copy and then how much it actually, you know, has an impact. And as you can see, there's like a large, I'm not even sure what was Dina, do you know, help me out here, do you know if yes was for the default copy or yes was for the custom copy? Not sure, right?
Not sure. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, anyway, but what you know, but what it tells is like while the conversion rate for custom copy was 2x higher than in 2019, the out of the box copy maintained its edge. So yeah, I'm guessing that the lighter color, the no, will be for the custom copy, and basically just speaks to the messaging. So you want to find the right messaging. As Wistia says, probably the reason why their default copy works is because it's a short, sweet, and to the point message. And maybe when people are trying to write their own copy, it gets a bit overdone, and it's not something that actually does great conversions. Okay, let's move on. Okay, yeah, pretty much the same thing again. When you're asking for an email address, that actually seems to be boosting your conversion rates. When you're actually using the term email rather than just saying that you're looking for some information, for some reason, I'm guessing people at this point by 2022 are just more trustworthy in general with like giving up their emails, and they don't really necessarily want to give up more information. And I think even without any sort of video content, when you're asking for information in any lead gen form or whatever form, try and keep it simple. Ask for like a first name and an email, and don't overdo it, because people don't necessarily want to give you all of the information of like where do you work, what sort of job you're doing, and all of that. And you don't really need it, to be honest. What you need is an email address and something you can reach out via to your users. Yeah, and then the conclusion is just that that's something that we basically been repeating throughout this episode, is just you have to be investing in video content. If you haven't started yet, start it. You don't really need a major strategy. You don't really need to be looking at all of the different metrics and all of that. What you need is, like, honestly, whatever sort of phone that you can record yourself with, perhaps, but that's not super important, some lighting that will definitely help you. And then maybe a set of headphones and someone to talk to. Like in this case, I can talk to my lovely colleagues, teammates, all of that. You don't need much. You need sometimes you will need a good story or whatever. But as you can see in this case, as Joel started this with, we were just what was the word that you're lazy enough?
Yeah, lazy and resourceful, obviously.
And resourceful to use someone else's findings and report. And we made a podcast out of it that you will see.
Yeah, and I
I
also
think that's that.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I just wanted to say that there is room for experimentation. And as we saw, like everything was so different in 2019, but then COVID hit and like it changed. People's perception changed. So you can experiment. You can make like shorter videos, maybe you can make longer videos. You can make like super professional videos, and also you can add some like just simple videos. So you never know what will happen next. And I think it's like also cool to experiment, and you can like try different tools. You can try different methods and different like I don't know, conversation approaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. This was fun.
Thank you. This was fun.
All right. Well, see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.